Welcome to the show, everyone. My name is Mark. I am your host. And today on the show, I've got a good friend of mine in recovery, Terry. Terry, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
You're welcome. I brought something for you, a present.
You did.
I did, and it's the recovery band. Kick it, boys. Yeah, right.
Right on.
I know that's some funk. And studio audience.
It's a big crowd.
It is. It's huge. Like, look at all of them, right? Wow. It's like a stadium.
I'm impressed.
So this is kind of like impromptu to sit down and talk with you. And I can't thank you enough for your service and sharing and to share some of your experience, strength, and hope. And, every time I come over to this coast, like I see you. And I've seen you for a while. And we met, when you were in detox?
Yeah. Yeah, in detox, you came in with, not Colette, Courtney, mm-hmm. and spoke to the group at Summer House when I was there. And our good friend Alex was working there. And
yeah,
I was so excited about what I heard. And Alex was always there. He says, "Are you ready to go to a meeting? I'll call Mark. He'll come and get you."
He always told me to do that.
Yeah,
right? Volunteer Alex,
I'm
right?
Like, okay, he got this guy on his finger. Wow.
Yeah, he called me and he's like, "There's this guy. He needs to go to a meeting."
He was so enthusiastic about helping people, and that's a trait that I want to achieve.
Yeah. So you've been in the recovery world for a while.
Yeah, I've actually, when I was 15 years old, I went to my first 12-step program.
Really?
This was back in the early 70s, mid 70s, and pot was a big thing. Mm-hmm. So it was an AA gentleman that formed a place called The Seed, which was a 12-step, but it was more for smoking pot and drugs and stuff like that.
Okay.
So maybe it was the first NA. I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows? That's a long time ago, Terry. I have no idea.
That's how long I've been drinking. I'm only 65 right now, so
yeah,
I put more than 50 years into this destructive habit. And wow, what a difference now.
Yeah. So you went to this thing. Like, what do you think when you went there?
Oh, it was kind of traumatic. My parents said, "Well, we're going to buy a house," and I was a Mr. Fix-It kid. And I was all excited about working on this house they bought, and we pulled into this place that had a fence about 30 feet high, and they pulled a suitcase out of the trunk and said, "You're coming in."
And you didn't know?
No, I didn't know anything. They left me there. Oh, I was so upset. You hate me, you don't love me, blah, blah, blah. And just all my false pride spewing shit at them, which I regret. But
did you have resentment from that?
For a while, but the program was good. I stayed with what they called old comers. They invite us in their house. We'd spend the night, eat dinner, breakfast with them or what have you. And so they kept an eye on us newcomers until we achieved a level to where we went from newcomers to old comers. And I had another kid living with me for quite a while. Mm-hmm. And it got me through high school. Okay. I'd missed a lot of high school, so I caught up over the summer. Boom, graduated on time. I had my trade certificates in automotive, and I was on fire.
On fire.
So
yeah. So all these good things started happening to you, and then when did you go back out?
Well, my brother was going to the University of Florida, and being a car nut, I went up for the Gator Nationals, which was the drag races up there.
Yeah.
And we went to this place called the Rathskeller.
The what?
Rathskeller.
The Rathskeller.
Yeah, it's an on-campus bar, band, and my brother brought over this huge pitcher of beer. I think they were like $4 or $5. And I was off to the races after the first couple of beers.
Yeah.
And I wished I would have stayed with some sort of a program at that point in time, but you know what?
Yeah.
Here I am. And, through all the times I, was so twisted, I asked God to help me get out of this. Why'd you do this? But here I am. So he must have listened.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed that like when we ask God for something, we don't get to determine like how it comes, like, or when, or like I remember in my run like praying for like strength and then the courage to do this, just even to get sober, and the courage, but strength didn't come till like later on, and it didn't come in the way that I thought it would show up.
Well, strength is something I'm still working on.
Yeah.
I've been in and out of the program for 6 years now.
Yeah.
My first white chip, I was good for over a year, but
So you've had over a year.
yeah, I did, and had some medical issues and medication issues with my sponsor and the program that I went to. So they said, "No, you got to start over." And I just kind of went my own way.
Did that like deflate like some hope in you?
Yeah, I did, because I felt like I was blackballed from AA, and I'm like, what the hell am I going to do now?
Oh yeah.
So eventually, I went back to the drinking off and on, and I don't know how many times I went to rehab, but I know in 2022 I was there like 5 times, and things were getting really, really serious. And then you came into Summer House, got me over to West Dixie, and that fellowship there is just unbelievable.
It is, isn't it?
Man, the love in that room is incredible.
Yeah.
And you can feel it. And people I didn't know, they knew my name, how you doing, welcome,
Yeah.
glad to see you. And so I kept coming back,
Yeah.
those little cliches that I used to hate.
Well, which ones did you hate? Was it keep coming back?
One day at a time. Easy does it. Yeah, I thought they
What do you mean easy does it?
Yeah, no, I don't do anything
One
easy.
day at a time. I want the whole deal.
Give me everything.
Yeah, that's kind of funny how like the alcoholic mind works, right? Like I'm like I want the whole deal now. I'm happy, joyous, and free, and it's like, no, you're not.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So, my constant relapse is really got me to a point where it was desperate, and I've been reading a lot of books. One that you actually gave me, the 20 misunderstood or 20
the Danny
mistakes,
Falcone book.
Danny Falcone book.
Yeah.
And and I would happily say, Terry, I'm an alcoholic, but I felt like I was always convincing myself, well, look at my family tree. They were drunks. My mom was drinking when she was pregnant. I mean, yeah, I'm an alcoholic. But this last relapse, which only lasted about 5 days, and God sent Joey over from West Dixie, and when he saw me, it was. He tells me it was quite a scene, quite a mess, a lot of blood, a lot of damage inside the house, and so what I realized with thank God, I went to the hospital for 5 days. I was 4 days in ICU. My heart was fibrillating, and that makes blood clots. And I had so many wounds on me. My left arm was all infected from a wound on my elbow, probably from falling down.
Yeah. You heal up well, by the way. I wouldn't be able to tell you. Talk about being all torn up. It's like
this one little scar on my forehead
I see
is
it
still
now, yeah.
apparent, and that's from the last relapse. I kind of hope it stays there.
Yeah.
And it was about the third day when I was in the hospital, and I was finally able to get out of bed. And when I saw myself in the mirror, it was a point where I just felt it in my gut, in my heart, in my head. I was beat.
So it took all that for you to feel that.
It took all of that to get me to the point to fully concede to my innermost self that I'm an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And that's really the first step. If you read the book, it tells you, we have to fully concede to our innermost selves that we're real alcoholics.
Yeah, the first step of recovery.
And I mean, I could say it, I convince myself, but to concede to my innermost self, wow, that was different. After I saw my face in the mirror, I went back to the bed, got on my knees, prayed, and God's got me here, and there's a plan for me, because there's many times I should have died.
Yeah.
I was drinking for so long, and the reason, when I grew up, parents had jobs, they were, always on time. That was instilled in me. So if I had a good job and I was making plenty of money, I couldn't be an alcoholic,
Oh, yeah, like the material losses don't necessarily indicate alcoholism. And yeah. Oh, I couldn't possibly be. There's no way, right?
Well, the problem is I was making plenty of money.
Okay.
I had a nice house, a girl, and the whole 9 yards, and it was tough. It was tough I could convince myself, my mom was an alcoholic. I had alcohol in my blood before I breathed. And sure, okay, I must be an alcoholic. Mm-hmm. But to go through that last experience was kind of devastating to myself.
Yeah.
I'm like, you are not God. You have been beaten.
You've been beating yourself up.
I always punished myself. I was one of those drunks that, I'd get home on the weekend sometimes, and I'd never leave the house. I'd drink alone.
Also, like isolation.
Very much in isolation. And Jay this morning spoke about this fog that sets into your loneliness. And
yeah.
It's the first time I ever heard that, and it really struck me, because loneliness is a big enemy,
Oh, it is. It's it is like that loneliness, like feeling lonely inside. Like did you? I can identify with what you're talking about, like the money and the house and the girl and all this stuff. Like I noticed when I had all that stuff, like this, I still had this hole in me.
Oh, definitely. But
yeah.
Look at what I got. I got a car, I got a boat, I got this, I got that.
Yeah.
I show up to work on time. And that was another key factor that made me ask for help the first time. I was a blackout drunk. And I had one incident. I was on my way to work. Okay. My girlfriend had spent the night up at her sister's house, so I had the bottle next to me all night. So I carried it down to the truck, and I couldn't get in the truck. I fell down in the parking lot of my condo.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Wow.
And, paramedics came, and they're loading me into the wagon, and I'm calling my boss, telling him I'm not going to be to work today. I can laugh now, but man,
Well, they talk about like people coming into the rooms like, how are these people able to laugh like that? Why are they I think some of it's like I'm just happy to have made it through it all. But if I'm like all glum and just dwell on that shit, like, oh my god, like yeah, of course it was bad. Yeah, our life depends on it. But
getting over that demoralization and being able to clear my head and look back at it now, I can laugh, and I can't ever forget what I saw in that mirror, ever.
Well, you were talking about that this morning, and the way that you described that, like when we were sitting here talking before the meeting this morning, the way you said, like I could feel that.
That fully conceding to my innermost self, man, that was a gut punch. My heart was in pain, and my head said, you've been beat, man. You lost.
Have you had enough?
You're a loser. And, and there were so many people that had been texting me and calling me. And the worst thing was having to explain to each and every person. I started getting a little aggravated. I'm like, man, these people love me and they care. I was angry at myself because my expectations of myself was to understand this program and live it.
Yeah.
And I failed in that. And that was a little...
Yeah, but in a way you succeeded.
I did.
Because if you think about it, it got you to surrender.
It did get me to surrender. And I've heard people, you have to go through X, Y, and Z to get to ABC. Those low moments, and that was definitely my moment. Definitely my moment.
I'm glad you survived through it. Like people, isn't it weird that people like you realize, like people love us. Like the people, like if something were to happen to us, like going back out, it's like we don't know what people really truly think. We can have this conception in our head, but we don't know what they say after they're gone. Like look at our friend Volunteer Alex.
Yeah.
Like how people we don't know what happened in that situation, but think about how the people think of him. Like I wish I could tell that guy I love him.
Well, you're the one that told me instead of praying for him, we could pray to him. Yeah. And that was a major thing for me because I went out after Alex.
Yeah.
Died, killed himself. So that meant a lot.
Yeah.
That meant a lot. I was this resentment of God. Well, you took my buddy, and he was such a good guy. Why'd you do that? And, I'm not God.
Well, there was somebody in a meeting once I heard that said, we're not here 1 second less or 1 second more than what God wants us.
Exactly.
And there was somebody else that I was talking to actually about that. And it was like, maybe God had something bigger planned for, like it's kind of selfish to want them all to us.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, so you had a resentment over that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had a resentment over God on that. And, I didn't say anything to my sponsor, any of my friends. I just kept in my head, and my head's like a machine. Thinking.
Like a storage unit of like WTF?
It's a snowball machine from hell because a little nugget turns into a mountain.
Like an avalanche or something?
Yeah. And it's brutal.
So you, because you had built up time before that.
Yeah. I had almost 9 months this last time, which at first I'd say I hate to throw that away, but I learned a lot. And being out there with the head full of AA and drinking, they don't get along.
I heard that's painful. Like I haven't experienced that yet. I'm not saying that to like ride my look at me horse, but it's like I've heard people talk about that, and it's really painful.
It is extremely painful, and it just made me want to drink more to get that thoughts out of my head. Put me into deeper coma,
Yeah.
or what have you. But yeah, that sucked. And the disease is progressive, but if I look at my relapses and the amount of time that I was able to go out and drink again, got down to 4 days, 4.5 days.
4 days before it looks like a murder
before I
scene.
go to the hospital for 5. So, the volume of alcohol. And again, I got money. I can order it from Uber, or Instacart, or whatever, and that's a problem. Maybe if I didn't have money, I wouldn't be able to do that. But, I think Joey said he found 3 bottles in there.
Wow.
So, I wouldn't wait for one to run out.
Dang.
That's animal alcoholic.
I don't think that's what normal drinkers do. I don't know. Because I'm not a normal drinker, right? Like, if you think about that, it's like, what is that? What they do? I remember I was out to dinner. It was a few months ago with some friends, and a friend of a friend was sitting next to me, and he had a couple drinks. It doesn't bother me, right? I'm not going out and hanging out in the bar, but I'm in a restaurant with people. Of course, they're going to drink. They shouldn't change their behaviors for me.
No.
And and they know I'm in recovery. But he's sitting next to me, and the waitress comes up and asks him an interesting question. She's like, "Do you want another one?" And he said, "No, I'll take a water." And in my mind, I started to laugh, and he's like, "What's so funny?" And I'm like, "How do you do that? You're only gonna have 2?" I'm like, "That's how I know I'm an alcoholic, right? Like, how do you do that?" It's kind of like the time on the watch says, "Oh, time to go home."
I never left a drop in a bottle. And anybody that could walk away from half a drink or half a beer, they were nuts.
Yeah, like, why?
What are you, stupid?
There's perfectly good drink left.
But no, you're normal.
Now, did you ever think that
I'm a whack job.
So you were talking about after that first drink you picked up and it was off to the races. Did you ever like the way that you describe, like, it reminds me of like Bill's story. Like, I wouldn't end up like that. Like, there's no way I'm gonna be that person. Like, that's despicable. That's like, did you ever think that it would go that way? I think you alluded to kind of knowing, but like the progression.
I had heard about the progression. I kind of figured it out when I was going back to back detox, 5 times in 8 months. It was ridiculous.
I remember seeing you in detox. You were shaking.
I was shaking like a leaf. And I can tell you, the first time I went to detox, they kept me a couple extra days, and I left there shaking.
Yeah.
But, when Rudy saw me, she was like, "No, you ain't going nowhere. You go back to bed." But I shook for months, trying to walk downstairs. My knees were all wobbly, and it was tough to write my name, tough to write anything.
Yeah. Like that kind of like that fog that sits in.
That fog deal that he talked about this morning, that was a good thing. I like that.
I know, right? The terror, bewilderment, the fog, like, it all just like subjects of king alcohol.
Yeah, it's like the big doom is rolled in.
Yeah. It's like, that fog, like this, like, that's like describing that is,
and
like,
it's good.
I felt that when he described it.
Yeah, because it was like I couldn't see nothing. It was like a fog when I'm drinking. It's a big fog, and that loneliness is just, for me, I could manufacture problems.
No, are you serious?
Big time.
Oh, yeah. Tell me more. Mountain out of a molehill. Let's do this.
Yeah, that's that snowball machine I was telling you about.
Oh, I like that. The snowball machine.
Snowball machine from hell.
It's kind of like a ski resort in like a hot place, like making their own fake snow.
Yeah, right.
Snow machine.
But things that were nothing things that I couldn't change. I tried to change things I could
Well,
change.
like go back in time?
Yeah, that was one. I would have liked to do that. But I lost it.
It's okay.
I lost my train of thought there. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. It's like the one thing I learned is it's like, oh, okay, like I don't have time travel capabilities,
Right.
but if those things had never happened, I wouldn't be able to identify.
True.
Like, yeah,
Well, and that was another tip that I like is being in the moment. Somebody told me, check your feet, where you're at. Stay in the present.
was that our friend that sets the alarms on his phone? That's like, where are your feet at?
I think Joey's sister told me that one. Not too long ago. I'd heard it before in the meetings, but the way she said it, it just seemed to make a lot more sense. Just like those silly cliches. They set off a track of to-do things in my head,
Okay.
It easy does it means, hey, back off, pause, calm down, and think clearly. Trying to get the emotions under control.
Isn't that wild how like a dozen different people can say the same thing, but maybe only one of those will resonate? Like, I don't know if it's the person, if it's the way that it is.
Well, it's got to be me. Pretty much everything else. But it is really weird how you can hear the same thing over and over, and then that one time, that one person that says it, and it's like, wow,
Yeah,
I didn't see it like that. I didn't think of that.
like I don't know, like you were talking about it like it's me. It's like yeah, but like, was it the person? Was it the moment? Was my mind just open at that point? Like, it really makes you think, doesn't it? Like,
Well, what about God gives you what you can handle when you can handle it?
yeah.
Maybe something like that.
Oh yeah. I heard a speaker once, and he described that, and it changed the way I think. He's like, my favorite saying right now is like, God doesn't give us more than we can handle. But if that's true, I wouldn't need God's help. And I'm like, ooh, like, let's split a hair here.
Yeah.
Like that makes you think, right? Like, I don't know.
No.
No.
If it, have faith in God, He gives me what I need. And I ask Him to keep me sober today, and I thank Him at night. And whatever comes my way, something I also kind of developed as a little trick was I went to Hawaii one time, and everybody's got their thumb and their pinky finger out, and they're like, hang loose.
Oh yeah.
So I started really thinking about that. No worries, no expectations, no anger. Just be ready for whatever happens.
Yeah.
Just chill, hang loose. Whatever happens, they can handle it.
Lowering expectations is a great thing, isn't it?
Oh, yes. That's a big red flag. Those expectations.
Oh man, they're horrible. Like I noticed as an alcoholic, like I could make an expectation out of anything. Yeah, it's wild. Like most recently, like my thing was that I got invited to a Super Bowl party with AA people.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. And so they said, oh yeah, we're going to have people over. We're going to have food, all this. And I almost didn't go because I'm like, I don't know if I want to be around all these people. Like, I've got this like mass gathering in my head, but yet I'm not really afraid to be around people anymore. But I'm like, oh, there's going to be people there I don't know. I don't want to have that awkward stare, like this and that. I almost didn't go. I went there and there wasn't that many people, and it was all people that I knew. And I'm like, what was I thinking? Like,
that's something that I've had too lately, where I had an event I could go to, and I sat there and kind of talked myself out of it. Well, I don't know who's going to be there, how long is it going to be? All these stupid excuses, and it's like, damn it. Well, you quit making excuses and just do it. You're supposed to put the program into action.
Exactly.
And that's step 6. Take what I've learned and make those changes. If you're a little uncomfortable, suck it up.
So somebody told me it's like, you're uncomfortable, good.
Yeah,
Like,
suck it up, bitch.
it's kind of like getting comfortable being uncomfortable or something like that. It's
Yeah. But like you said, you never know if you don't go.
right? Like, defects of character are an interesting thing, aren't they?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Learning how to stop those little triggers that send me off on the wrong path is key. I get little red flags popping up in my head.
Yeah.
All the time, and that awareness of myself. I thought it was good before, but it seems to get better all the time.
Yeah.
I know when I need to stop and say a prayer, or whether to move forward with something. I'm excited what every day brings. I don't know what it's going to bring, but you know what? I know I can handle it. God's with me, good or bad. Whatever it is, show me.
God is.
I'm here to see God's world and participate. So yeah, whatever it is, I'll take it.
What do you find joy out of in God's world now in your life?
Well, I mean, the simple things of love instead of hate, and joy instead of anger, peacefulness instead of chaos.
Peace is crazy, right?
Peace is a wonderful thing.
It is.
And I can be alone now and not be lonely. I've always got God to talk to. I've got hundreds of phone numbers of all my fellows in AA.
How many messages did you have in your phone the last time you went back out?
Oh my God. It had to be close to 15,
Wow.
maybe more. A lot of repeat calls, especially Joey. There were. I was shocked. I was like, oh my God, why April, down the list. And like I say, calling him back and telling him I was okay was kind of hard because that demoralization and those, I expected better of myself, but you know what? This is the way it had to go. Because for me to fully concede that I'm powerless over alcohol, it's key. You got to do the first step 100%, which is another thing that, it says in the book, 100%.
Quantity.
So that little thing in the back of my head that said, well, you're going to get old, you're going to go to a assisted living facility or something, you can drink then.
Oh, drink like what? Like normal men?
I'm like, yeah. I think I look at it now. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Oh, that's right. You're a sick alcoholic.
Well, that's the obsession, right? Like it's like, someday, somehow you control his drinking, like normal men or something like that. Wait, let's hit that. Can we hit that?
Sure.
Let's do it. I believe that's more about alcohol. Man, there's all kinds of bells and phones going off, and we all. My phone's ringing. What was that? Was that the microwave?
That was the doorbell.
Oh, okay, perfect. Okay, More About Alcoholism, page 30. Most of us have been unwilling to admit we were real alcoholics.
And that's why I say I'm a real alcoholic, for that statement alone.
That's beautiful.
Because I'm willing to admit I'm a real alcoholic.
Anytime I've ever heard somebody say, like, I'm a real alcoholic, in my mind, I'm like, no shit. Right. We're in a media. It's like, how far do you need to define that? Like I say alcohol, but now I get like.
Is there a fake one?
As many times as I've heard that, and you saying it now, because I heard you say it today, and the first thing that came to my mind was, no shit. Like you think, but then now, like we were talking about that thing, like where it just clicks, like somebody's like, where your feet at?
Right.
It just clicked.
Yeah.
Thank you, God.
Just saying it
The right moment.
The right moment, the right words.
I know, isn't that amazing? So, okay, so we'll continue on. No person likes to think he is bodily and mentally different from his fellows.
No, I always thought I was better anyway.
Oh, I didn't know who you were, Terry.
That's different. I was better.
Therefore, it is not surprising that our drinking careers have been characterized by countless vain attempts to prove we could drink like other people.
Yeah. Again, I thought I could do it all.
Even up to the very end, or?
No, I would say the last few relapses, I pretty much knew, exactly where I was going to end up if I made it. Which is sad when you think about that.
Yeah. Okay, how about this one? The idea that somehow, someday, he will control his drinking is the great obsession of every abnormal drinker. So you're talking about that thing like, oh, I'm getting old. I'm going to be in the... I can do that?
Drink.
Yeah, you were kind of alluding to that this morning. See, and I never knew that. Like, all the times we had talked, like, I never...
My snowball machine put me into old and crippled and being taken care of by other people and drinking away.
Okay, so hold on. Let's keep going. The persistence of this illusion is astonishing.
Blows me away.
The proof is in the pudding. There it is. If it blows Terry away, then that must be true. Many pursue it to the gates of insanity or death.
I was right there, man. Totally insane when I started drinking. Totally insane. And my brain somehow came back to sort of normal. But yeah, it's either completely crazy or dead. It's the only way it's going to leave me.
Wow. Yeah, it's, yeah. I got nothing to follow it up with. Let's keep going.
Go man, go.
Here's that line. We learned that we had to fully concede to our innermost selves that we were alcoholics. This is the first step in recovery.
Exactly.
It doesn't say that it's the first. It's not the first step is powerless and unmanageable, but
the first step in recovery.
Yeah.
And that was what I was missing.
And you discovered that this time around.
I did. I sure did.
That's beautiful. The way that you described that, like, changed my life this morning. Like, it really, like the way you said that, like, there's something in your eyes, like when you said that, and in your voice.
That's how I feel. I guess that's what the truth looks like when it comes out of my mouth.
How about this one? This is the delusion that we are like other people, or presently maybe, has to be smashed.
Yeah. Destroy it and forget it. You ain't going there. You don't have a chance.
Okay. We alcoholics are men and women who have lost the ability to control our drinking.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No control whatsoever.
All right. We know that no real alcoholic ever recovers control.
That's for sure. The only time I stopped drinking was when I fell down, blacked out.
Or somebody comes knocks on the door and it looks like a murder scene. All of us felt at times we were regaining control, but such intervals, usually brief, are inevitably followed by still less control, which led in time to pitiful and incomprehensible demoralization. Now, I looked up incomprehensible demoralization when I first started reading this. I'm like, what does that mean? I keep hearing that. And it was loss of hope or morale, impossible to comprehend.
Yeah, that's a good definition. I like that. It's just like you're a quarter of an inch tall. That's how low I felt after the relapse.
We are
all of them.
All of them. Yeah.
But here I am.
Oh, I'm glad you're here, Terry. I'm glad we're having this conversation right now.
I avoided the insanity and death for now. And I like it.
Good. How about this one? We are convinced to a man that alcoholics of our type are in the grip of progressive illness.
Yeah, like I was saying before, my first relapse, I was probably drinking for a year or so before I ended up going to detox. And then it was more frequent. And the amount was, I mean, I never left the house. I never took a shower. I don't think I ate a thing.
You were telling me after you got out of the hospital, man, I feel like I'm just like disgusting. Like I don't look good. I don't feel good.
I never looked so bad in my life,
I wouldn't know it now, though. How much time do you have now, Terry?
100 days today.
Today's triple digits.
Triple digits.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to quadruple digits.
There you go.
There's no going back.
Oh, wait, what was that saying? One day at a time?
One day at a time, but I can still...
I don't see anything wrong with looking forward to it.
Well, I want to stay sober, so
yeah.
You've got to have some sort of a goal, I think, in life. At least for yourself, or for me to be alive, I've got to.
Yeah. It's over a considerable period we get worse, never better.
Yeah. No doubt about it. You can read it, but when you feel it, wow.
I see you feeling it right now. Like,
painful it just doesn't seem like a strong enough word.
What about we are like men who have lost their legs? They never grow new ones.
Yeah, I've always wondered about that one.
Yeah.
I mean, are my legs alcohol? I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't really get that so much, but
there was some girls that broke down. Once again, we're going to go back to Forrest Gump, right? Okay. Forrest Gump is the program recovery. Lieutenant Dan's alcoholism. He lost his legs. He's never going to grow new ones, right? He's angry. He's screaming at the sky like, "Let's do this, God!" Right? And then he finds God. He's peaceful in his life, but he never grew new. I mean, I don't know, like that. Like that's alcoholism. Like the Forrest Gump is the program of recovery. Like total acceptance. Like,
all right, I can take that.
Yeah, it's like, neither does there appear to be any kind of treatment which makes alcoholics of our kind like other men.
That's the scary part. Is there isn't like a pill you can take, or
magic wand,
somebody electric shock or something, or I always thought there was a magic bullet that would just, okay, you're a normal drinker.
I want to enjoy my vodka.
Yeah.
We have tried every imaginable remedy.
No doubt about it.
In some instances, there have been brief recovery, followed always by still worse relapses.
The worse relapses, and how much worse they became is astonishing.
Yeah.
That's pain that I won't forget.
Yeah. Well, if I think back to like the run, like the actual run before I went to treatment and all that, like there were periods where I'd try to stop. I couldn't stop. Like I would stop for 3 or 4 days and I would just go ham after that. Like, and try to make up for those 3 or 4 days that were lost. And then I try to get 2 more days or a day, fail miserably at it.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you got any days, you're better than me. Because it usually lasted till the afternoon when I was feeling a little better.
Oh, that was the only time I'd be able to put 2 days together is when I was sleeping for the weekend. Because look at that, my alarm. All kinds of disturbances, right?
Oh,
but and the thing, I'm trying to detox. Everything's gonna be great. I'm gonna wake up after this 2 days of sleep, and I'm gonna be able to do this.
I can't tell you how many times I went to bed saying, "Yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna get up, take a shower, have a nice breakfast, and my coffee. I'm gonna go out and do something, whatever I had done in months.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do something. Things are gonna be better." That never happened.
Yeah.
Waking up was a whole different mindset. It's like, where's my juice?
Yeah, wake up. Where's the drink? Like, where's the energy drinks if I don't have any blow? Right? If I'm like, I'm like, oh man, that feeling.
Yeah,
this shit again.
Yeah, I'd sit here and watch the clock, and I knew the convenience store would open at 7. I'm like, at least I can get a beer to hold me over till the liquor store opens at 9. Then
But yet the night before, you're like, this is it, tomorrow morning.
I'm done. Never again.
Did you ever cook that breakfast?
Never. Never. I do now, though.
Despite who are familiar with alcohol, physicians who are familiar with alcoholism agree there's no such thing as making a normal drinker out of an alcoholic.
They're right.
I think so. Science may one day accomplish this, but it hasn't done so yet.
It probably never will.
Yeah, I was reading something about a scientific breakthrough, how they're like, can cure alcoholism with it. I'm like, I don't know about all that. Like, really? Yeah. I'm like, I don't even know if I'd even want to try that and then pick up a drink after that.
No.
I'm like, don't really want to test that theory. This science works. Like, this is what works. For me.
Couldn't get the smell or the taste. No, it's kind of repulsive. And I used to have a bottle in my truck. So first thing in the morning, I was filling up my mug so I could go to work. No ice, just give me the vodka. I don't care. Hot, cold. Just give it to me.
How about this one? Despite all we can say, many who are real alcoholics are not going to believe they're in that class. By every form of self-deception and experimentation, they will try to prove themselves exception to the rule, therefore non-alcoholic.
Well, if you try everything I did, I guarantee it ain't going to work.
Wasn't it easier, softer way?
This is the easier, softer way.
Yeah.
Believe me.
Terry, I can't thank you enough for sitting down and doing this today. What are you grateful for today?
Mark, I'm grateful that you came over from Sarasota to spend the weekend. I'm grateful that I have 100 days. I've got a great sponsor, Sponsee Brothers, the fellowship, the people at West Dixie. I mean, that's the highlight of my day now, going to the meeting.
It's beautiful. As I'm grateful for our friendship, Terry. And, like, even, like coming over here, like you just said, I'm getting 100 days. It's like, boom, let's do this. Let's hang out.
Yeah.
It's, there's a lot of stuff going on, but just sitting here with you and, to wake up this morning, to see your smiling face, Terry.
I got to smile again.
Yeah, right? Grateful you're here.
That was gone for a long time. And something else I was thinking about. I've been laughing a lot, I mean, Joey cracks me up, and some of the speakers, even Jay today, cracked everybody up.
Yeah.
The last 10 years of my drinking, I'm trying to think of when I laughed. And I couldn't come up with one. I couldn't remember a time that I really laughed.
Like genuinely laughed.
Genuinely laughed.
You seem happy.
In at least 10 years, final 10 years of my heavy drinking. Now, what a wonderful feeling.
What a wonderful life, right?
Love and happiness.
Yeah. It's life is beautiful.
It sure is now. This Bob and Bill, they're the man.
Yeah.
They're the real deal.
Yeah, I like it.
How they put all this together is kind of mind-boggling. I mean, I was drunk. Why couldn't I think of something like this?
So before we go, do you have anything you'd like to say to the newcomer?
To the newcomer, be honest. Most importantly, be honest with yourself. And show up at the meetings. And the magic will work from there. Of course, you're going to find a sponsor. You're going to read that big book over and over. It's the technical service manual to the human being. That's the automotive stuff. So.
Yeah.
And it's daily maintenance. Yeah. Only 3,000 miles.
Terry, I love you, my brother.
Love you too, Mark.
Yeah, it's good to sit down and talk with you, and thanks for doing this. Like, it was kind of not planned what I'd asked you, but it was like this morning you were talking about that, like the real surrender. And it was just like, that moved me. Like, it was powerful.
It's a real, I mean, it made a big change in me. I finally got that first step 100%.
Yeah.
And that's what I can say to the newcomer. 100%. Step one. Do it.
Yeah. Well, Terry, you know what else is 100%? The recovery band. Kick it, boys.
Yeah.
Listen to that 100% funk. And the studio audience. Standing ovation.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Terry.
Thank you, Mark.
Goodbye, everyone, and be well.